VGC is supported by Patreon. Check out patreon.com/videogameschronicle for more podcasts, ad-free browsing, and extra content. Thank you for your support. I don't want to hear, I don't want to know. It's VGC the Video Game Podcast, episode 185, with me, Jordan Midler, and Chris Scullion. This week, GTA leakers should probably hit and run as far as they can, but first, how's it going, folks? Chris Scullion, wholesome games on the top.
Wholesome games on the top, wholesome games in the mind. Yeah, I'm doing good.
What do you think is the most wholesome game?
The most wholesome game is...
Dig Dug, because they'd be digging holes.
Yeah, but he's also blowing creatures up with an air pump, so that's not quite wholesome. What is the most wholesome game? Because it would need to be something with like zero violence in it and cute and cuddly, so Tetris doesn't count. Be some sort of Care Bear pish.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the you're inexplicably excited for a collection for. Oh, Digital Eclipse are doing a Care Bear collection.
Sold. I'll be there day nothing.
They've got all the 8-bit Care Bear games that we all remember, such as...
Care Bears is actually criminally underrepresented in the 8-bit world. Unlike Barbie, which obviously now is getting a Digital Eclipse collection, which I'm genuinely quite a wee bit excited for.
I never ended up filming anything with it, but I partook the Barbie lemonade they had at Summer Game Fest to tie in, and it was American lemonade, so it was just sweet as anything.
Pink lemonade though, surely.
No, again, see, this is another mistrick. Normal lemonade, I couldn't believe it.
Do you know the Barbie pink is a trademarked colour?
Is it?
Aye, I didn't realise that. In fact, one of the old 8-bit games says that during the copyright stuff, like the Barbie pink TM. So they actually trademarked the colour, so you can't have dolls with that exact pink on your box, apparently. I don't know if that's changed, but that was the case in the old 80s.
For more about pink times on your box, VGC, patreon.com/videogameschronicle. And one of my favourite copyright things is when you start up a WWE game and it's just got floor to ceiling, like this name is this belt is this. Reggie Park's always getting a shout out for all the belts he owns. Marvel Comics because of the Hulk Hogan stuff, like it's always funny.
Is Andre's one of them, isn't he?
Pretty sure, yeah. As all these legends started owning their own stuff and like their estates own their own stuff, it's just a nightmare. That's why the Legends roster is always so weird, because they're not under the Legends contracts. Anyway, we're not talking about bloody wrestling. We're talking about video games. If you'd like to hear more about video games, patreon.com/videogameschronicle is the best place to support. You can get extra content, extra videos, and ad-free browsing on the site. This week, you could check out Chris's adventures in Germany. You put up your lost tapes from last year's Gamescom. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so like last year I went to Gamescom, and the idea was I'll do a vlog, I'll wear those really bad glasses which now are like almost becoming criminal.
How the public opinion has turned on those glasses in the years since, because there used to be this novel thing of like, that's interesting, and now it's like, no, they're actually non-specs.
To be fair, rightly so, but I do, it's a shame because there are people like me who had good intentions with them who are like, actually this could be really good for content, because as you'll see in the Germany vlog and a bit of the Japan vlog that I've got coming up at the end of the month, they're really useful for situations like when I'm playing a game at a booth and I've got both my hands used and you can actually see the gameplay through my eyes and stuff like that. In the Japan one, I've got a bit where I'm using like playing some crane games, and obviously that's really cool for that. But I just feel really awkward wearing them because there are so many people who probably do use them for dodgy stuff, and I don't like people looking at me with a wee light flashing in my eye and they're thinking he's a dodgy bastard. So yeah,
as soon as I saw a cottage industry popping up of people being like, here is how you disable the light, and the meta, I was like, that's it's game over. Yeah,
that killed it. It is weird. It should almost be less discreet. Like if it had a wee camera on the top of it, I'd probably feel better about wearing them because people would then see it. I wouldn't. It's the fact it's so discreet feels dodgier because it's almost like I'm trying to hide it. It's like, no, actually put a wee box above it and make it clear I've got a camera. I'd actually be happier with that because people would know I'm doing it. But anyway, the point is, so I used that and was doing like a nice wee video vlog or indeed a vlog in Gamescom last year.
An ATM machine.
Exactly, and I never quite finished the kind of the wrap up and the voiceover and stuff for it. But I thought, I was looking at it again recently, and I was like, this is really good content, and like we never got to do it. So I put it together as a wee fake Blair Witch style Lost Tapes thing, and instead of voiceover I put like text narration next to the meta stuff, and it actually worked out quite well. So it's a nice wee look at how we cover these things, because I think a lot of people don't realise what the media side of Gamescom is like, because it's very different from the show floor, which is full of millions of people. So you get to see behind the scenes what the business area looks like, and kind of how it is exploring and getting from booth to booth and stuff like that. So it's cool. It's nice
how the sausage gets made. One of my favourite things about these shows is seeing people who don't have access but are trying to like break in, do their own little bits and pieces. So like trying to break into the industry rather than break into the actual event. I remember, because I was in that situation, EGX 2016 maybe, and we brought our like DSLR and our mics and our like wee portable light and stuff like that, and we would just find anywhere with a good background and be like, we're here at EGX and we just got hands on with Guitar Hero Live and all that kind of stuff. And it's nice to see that there's still people out there doing that grind, because it must be mighty demoralizing to still be trying to do that in this day and age. I also feel like Gamescom's a good op for the European side of the press that's like non-English language speaking, because SGF and things like that are so English centric, whereas Gamescom's a lot more
It's also nice because, this is going to sound very snobbish, but Gamescom, they at least still have some kind of checks in place for press and creators to make sure they're at least of a certain traffic base, a certain audience size. So you're not getting folk who turn up with like 20 viewers and they're just trying to break in, like you say. And people like that do need a way in, but they go in through the public area and kind of have to fight among the people to get their coverage that way. Whereas, so thankfully, the business area isn't full of people running around with selfies, like filming themselves, going, I'm here, get 007.
SGF was really bad for that. Like, the amount of people's videos that, like, and at some point it's hard to, it's not as if there's like studio space at SGF where people could be making stuff, but just the constant, like, you're in the background of people's videos, and like, if you're any kind of notorious, like, I said it at the time, but Greg Miller, I was like walking with him and he was getting stopped every 2 seconds to get a photo. And I just said to him, I was like, I need to go. I've got to go and do an appointment. And he was like, I'll get you there in 15 minutes because this is going to be my entire thing.
It must be infuriating.
How do you feel about that in terms of like, if you see somebody that you pure like in one of those settings? Because I'm like, I feel mixed about it, because it must be frustrating because you're there to work and you don't want to be stopped all the time, but also it could be that person's only time to ever meet you and they're a big fan who's just happened to get into the industry. Maybe because of you they got into the industry and stuff like that. So you want to give them time.
You turn it around to people talking to me, or me talking to other people? Because
no, like, I'm saying, how do you feel about like, if someone was to come up to you and do that, and
well, that's totally fine. I was like, I thought you were like, if I saw, because I still don't consider myself like that high up that anyone would come and speak to me like and on that level. So if anyone ever decides to go up to me and says hello, I'll gladly embrace it. I'll like, by the end of it, they'll be like, I need to go, and I'm like, no wait. I thought you meant like if I saw someone, like, because it's SGF, I saw Jeff Grubb, and I've not properly met Jeff Grubb in person yet. I didn't get a chance to bump into him at the house thing. But he was with 2 or 3 other people, and I was like, I'll just leave him. I'll leave him alone. If he was standing on his own in the corner, just kind of in between things, I would maybe jump over and just go, oh, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not one of these people who are like, this is my only chance. If I don't take this now, to hell with everyone else. Excuse me, everyone. I can't do that. They need to be on their own. And not doing anything before I approach them. But if it's me, to anyone listening, if it's me, as long as you're unarmed,
don't approach Scullion at VGC Live. He'll punch you in the face.
Actually, yeah,
it's a weird thing because it's like people are there to work. So I feel the same way about preview events and stuff like that. Like, you see devs and you're like, do you go up to them and say hello? I used to worry about that more. Now that I'm getting older, and I'm like, I don't know how, like, not in a I'm nearly done kind of way, but just in the way the universe works. Like, I don't know if I've got 10 more of these events left to do in my career or 500, so I might as well make the most of it. I
like doing it just as a quick. I don't want to like kind of take up their time for 20 minutes. But if I see somebody and they're not accompanied or they're not loose end, but they're not doing much, I walk over and say, "Nice to meet you, Chris Scullion from VGC. Just want to say,
how's your match?
I love your stuff, blah, blah, blah." And then like mention one or two of the stuff that they've done in the past that they like, and then just leave them. Just to kind of give them that kind of, because everyone likes being told their stuff's good. Even if they've heard it a million times before. Like I haven't, but I'm sure like someone like Greg Miller, I'm sure he gets stopped every 2 minutes and told, "Oh, kind of funny." And
yeah, people love
while it must be kind of infuriating to kind of just walk down the street, it must be still a nice kind of a wee hit to be told that every now and then. A wee Jeffrey.
If you want to see a man lose his cool, and I don't get starstruck around anybody, Junichi Masuda, let me tell you. really, really, really lost the heat both times I met him. Super nice guy. I was just like, this is like meeting Hendrix. This is bizarre. Speaking about
Hendrix.
Yeah, handsome Doc Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix, famously dead. Speaking of people who will likely be dead after too long, GTA 6 gameplay allegedly leaks ahead of planned Netflix review. If you've got access to the internet over the past couple of days, there's absolutely no way you've missed this. What started out as a clip being circulated that I was watching on a dodgy connection in the McDonald's car park, thinking, is that real? That could be really good. AI has turned into the leak story of the generation, you might say, Chris. The biggest leak story since the last GTA 6 leak story.
It's a weird one. It's funny, we've seen this in the Slack. I love how the guys that basically done a heel turn, because the original thing was, this is to teach Rockstar a lesson. You're not releasing games on disc, blah, blah, blah. You're not listening to people. So here's a bit of the leaked game. And people on social were going, like you say, at first going, this doesn't seem real. And then when it became increasingly clear that actually this is real, people are going, yeah, that'll teach them that, because secretly they want to see more of the game and they can't be bothered waiting another week to see it in this Netflix thing. So they're going, yeah, show us more. And then the guy's like, yeah, you just want to see the ending? Like, wait a minute here. Whoa.
Hold on now.
And now all of a sudden the guy's being very much hated. Everyone's like, wait a minute, mate.
When he started posting essays in the voice of Sephiroth, demanding all this stuff for various companies, I was like,
Power goes to your head very quickly, and that ruins a man.
It reminds me of... do you remember the boy that was doing like he was leaking stuff because he had press access to things, and he started like talking and all this cryptic stuff, and then he forgot to change his Twitter account and totally like gave the game away. It's like you're gonna get caught. And from what I read last night, it seems like the person who's been doing this, or the people, have been at least partially traced. And if they can be partially traced by sweaties on the internet, the might of Take-Two is probably like AC 130 above their house right now.
That's the thing, because one of the leaks ended with a video. Obviously, one of the more recent ones has got him like shooting his own name onto a wall to make it clear that he's got the game. But one of the leaks before that ended with a cutscene with someone saying, "Oh, they can't trace me. I've got a VPN." I'm like, mate, if that's a message you're posting, you're giving to Rockstar, I'm pretty sure just a VPN isn't enough to protect you these days. If you're like you say, if you've got the might of Take-Two behind you, they'll find you. You'll get found eventually, don't worry.
Yeah. This story has broken containment. I was playing football last night, and the first thing I was asked is, are those GTA leaks real? And I was like, okay, that's an interesting litmus test. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. These clips are everywhere. I think that one thing that will help them is I think the Netflix thing will be pretty impressive. And I think, especially because the clips are from, it's hard to discern when the builds are from, and they're like quite poor quality, and we don't know if they're running on dev kits, and it seems like they're not HDR tone mapped properly. Like, it looks weird. So when they show like their big bollocks 4K gameplay next week, I think people will be like, okay, right, we're into it now. But yeah, I suppose I'm not that shocked this happened when you refuse to show gameplay of the most anticipated game of all time until 2 months before it's out. The further to do something like this is obvious.
It's actually impressive that it's gone this long with very little coming out. Obviously, we got the leak like a while back.
Yeah, but that was like really early stuff. Yeah.
But when you consider how many people around the world are working on this game, there must be a cast of thousands that have worked on this game all the time. It's impressive how little of it has come out, and that we're at this stage now, and finally we're actually seeing some stuff. Yeah, but you're right. It looks like an interesting build. It looks like the build might be quite an old one, but there's three bits and pieces that make you think, okay, like, there's a bit where a basketball bounces into the water, and like that looks kind of believable, and you go, okay, the physics here might be quite interesting. There's a shot of a plane flying over the city, and the city looks absolutely annoying. I thought it was Microsoft Flight Simulator.
So did I. The size of the city, ridiculous.
Aye. So try to figure out where the boundaries are there, and that city is going to be interesting because it looks like they're pretty far stretching.
I don't want to be a hypocrite, and I'll tell you, I'll shoot here. If I wasn't in this job and I was on the outside, I would be devouring all of this stuff. I've been trying to not watch too much of it because I don't really. It's like I'll see it when it's in the. I'll see when it's in the real game. Like it was the same with the original stuff that was stolen. I was like, I'll look at the stuff that we have to look at to cover it, and then I'll just not bother because what does it matter to me? But I totally sympathize with the fans that are like super excited about this, maybe don't think about it from like a broader perspective of how this hurts the game. They're just like, this is the game I'm the most excited for out of anything ever. I want to see all of this. I was like that about tons of games before I was in this job. I felt the same way with other high profile like data breaches that have happened over the past couple of years. If I wasn't in this job, I would be it's impossible not to be curious about that kind of stuff. So I think people being super high and mighty about like people not watching it and stuff like that, it's like you can't dictate to people how they feel about something like this, and you're not going to appeal to the man on the street about like, oh, this really hurts Rockstar. Like the man on the street's like, and like I don't know John Rockstar. Even when
it's not a data breach and it's a legitimate like campaign like from the publisher, sometimes a publisher will reveal too much. And you think, why are you doing this? Like this is hurtful. But I have to put myself back to the mindset of when WWF Attitude was coming out.
Here we go.
On the PS1 and Dreamcast. IGN for 2 months leading up to it did Wrestler of the Day, and it was in collaboration with Acclaim. And every single day they would show one of their entrances from Attitude. And I watched every single one of those before the game came out. And when the game came out, I was like, well, I've seen all this. Yeah. But like you get tore into like with my 28.8K modem watching a tiny wee video of like The Rock coming out really bad quality, and I was like, it looks lifelike. That's like watching the
Rock says.
But yeah, and I think they did it again with No Mercy maybe, and they did it again. I watched them all again, but it's weird to like nowadays that if it's a game that I'm excited for, I will actively avoid everything until I go hands on with it.
I always think it's quite funny
unless the job doesn't allow it.
When we are reviewing something and then they put out a launch trailer and you're like, that's the last cutscene. There's like a clip of the last cutscene in this trailer. Right. They do that all the time. I've absolutely no idea why. But
and you're embargoed, so you can't see it. You can't come out and go, by the way, folks, don't watch this trailer because that's the ending. Because they don't know without the context.
Yeah,
they don't care. So yeah,
Peter Parker gets his head chopped off in this trailer. What could it mean?
It means God rest him.
What do you think the backlash from this will be from a Rockstar perspective? I think this puts the final nail in the coffin of codes going out for this game. I don't think it completely destroys the idea of reviews, but that will be on a dev kit in Edinburgh, New York, and it will be a very limited amount of people. Yeah,
it's all it does is kind of give extra credibility to their argument that the discs shouldn't have been in the game, which obviously isn't what isn't what even the leaker wants, but it gives them an extra string for their bow that they can point at and say, well, look what happens when people get the game early, they just fire it out over the internet. So we don't want to risk that happening with the finished game if this is an unfinished build. So that's why we're controlling it as much as possible until the exact day it comes out, and then everyone can enjoy it at the same time. So yeah, anything, if they were already pretty surely set in their ways that this wasn't going to be widely distributed before launch, and I think that's just even strengthens that belief. And,
I still am under the impression that they want on day one to have the trailer of like wall of 5 stars, the game of the generation, like all that kind of stuff that will play between like Premier League games, and like, oh, is that GTA finally out then? Oh, maybe I'll check that out the weekend or whatever. But I think that the common method of like 200 or 300. How many review codes do you think go out for a big game these days? 200 or 300, 3 or 4, like kind of in that range.
I suppose it depends on the system, doesn't it? If it was out on PC, it'd be a different matter because, as I understand it, Steam codes can be just generated.
Yeah, and just
press a button.
Yeah.
But consoles are finite, so yeah, there won't be. It's not like they'll be firing them out to everyone. They'll be very selective by who gets it. It's when I wonder if. See, I remember back in the day, Rockstar knew me quite well, even when I was at Official Nintendo magazine and not covering their stuff. I can't remember or maybe I can remember the situation, but I'm being careful about how I discuss it. But there was a point where someone at Rockstar spoke to me and seemed to know quite a lot about me, and I wonder if they're one of these companies that has like files on every journalist in like kind of. I don't doubt a wee cheeky bit of AI is getting used to kind of determine which publications are more likely to and this is just
conjecture.
It out. This is pure tinfoil hat stuff before people start suggesting that I'm actually saying this is what Rockstar's doing. But
it's not tinfoil hat to say that companies have profiles on journalists, because I was at an event recently where my profile was printed out and sitting on the table in front of me. And
I've seen that a couple of times.
During an interview, I was like trying to like make my eye lazy so I could read it. I was like, first of all, that's my BBC headshot from about 5 years ago. You're really not doing me any favours there. But
you're like, far right if them Central. but I mean, it's yeah, the 100% that happens in some studios, because I've seen the same. I've interviewed people and seen my face on a bit of paper at their side of the table and going, hold on, you could be a bit more discreet with that. So yeah, it's not tinfoil hat to say that the press have files of them in some studios. I think it is tinfoil hat to say that they pick and choose which journalists are covering the games. So that's just me guessing. But I would imagine
it's tinfoil hat to say that Rockstar are doing that currently. However, publishers absolutely do pick and choose who they want to cover.
In terms of publications, not in terms of specific writers, but yeah, definitely. Like I've been denied review code in the past for a certain publisher's game because I didn't score the previous game well enough. I had a blog that I wrote once about a game cited back to me as a reason why I wasn't getting review code. Because I said a game was a rip-off, and then I asked for code. Which it was, to be fair. And I asked for code for the next game, and they're like, but you said this was a rip-off.
Oh, well, maybe this one won't be.
This one looks all right. This one's above par. So yeah, that happens. The point
is, run for your life, Mr. Leakman, you absolute clown. More as we get it, GTA, the Netflix thing is next week at 12 p.m. PT on August 27th. I say PT because I will be on Pacific time, and I'm trying to run through my head if I'm pretty sure I'm free at that time, although I might be beating up Pikachu, so we'll see.
Say PT because you'll just be in a corridor, the same corridor over and over and over again while a wee ghost woman chases you.
I'll be on 12 p.m. PT Pikachu time. Thank you very much.
Very good. Sign up time, I think you're fine.
Story number 2. Simpsons creator Matt Groening seemingly accidentally confirms The Simpsons Hit and Run is coming back. Well, Matt Groening is clearly a big fan of VGC, the video game podcast from Summer Game Fest this year. The Simpsons Hit and Run was originally released in October 2003 for the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. It was The Simpsons' take on Grand Theft Auto. Before that, in 2001, it was a crazy taxi-like Simpsons Road Rage. Fans have been asking for a re-release of both games for some time, though Hit and Run is the one with the most interest. During a Simpsons panel at Disney's D23 convention in Anaheim, California, one attendee asked the panel whether, now that a second Simpsons movie was on the way, if there was potential for a second Simpsons Hit and Run game too. Oh, that would certainly be a treat, the Simpsons showrunner Matt Selman said. Selman co-wrote the original Hit and Run game, as well as its predecessor, The Simpsons Road Rage. Oh, I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, but I think the original game is coming back in some form, Groening then said, to gasps in the audience, or not. Selman comedically interjected, seemingly trying to de-escalate Groening's apparent confirmation. Groening then quickly changed the subject by telling an anecdote about making the games instead. In a 2023 interview, the Simpsons Hit and Run producer John Melchior revealed that 2 more Simpsons games were in development including the Simpsons Hit and Run 2, but publisher Vivendi, God rest them, Universal Games, was given the option to sign the deal for 5 Simpsons games and rejected it. The Simpsons Hit and Run, Chris Scullion. Matt Groening would know that they're doing a Simpsons Hit and Run remake, so I feel like we're going to the top here, you know?
Yeah, I think it's fair.
If you don't want to believe us, believe Matt Groening is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think if he's saying it, then I don't think he's that out of the loop. I know these days the Simpsons itself is generally made by other people, and he collects a fat wad every month and just kind of smokes $100 bills and stuff like that. But I've got to imagine he's still kind of generally in control of things and knows what's going on and knows everything that's happening. So I dare say if he's saying it, it's not silly old man accidentally saying some absolute bollocks. I think it's safe to conclude that this is a case of when, not if, at this point, and in what form.
Let's say the Simpsons Hit and Run is coming back. Let's go crazy and say the Simpsons Hit and Run is coming back. I think it's long overdue, and I think this game is going to sell ridiculous amounts because of all the games from the PS2. When you talk to people about the PS2 era who maybe fell out of games when the PS2 era ended, they talk about San Andreas, they talk about Crash Bandicoot, they talk about the Hit and Run games, the Simpsons games, both Hit and Run and Road Rage. So I think this is going to be an absolute monster hit. The question is, Chris Scullion, one of a big feature in the Simpsons Hit and Run was Mr. Apu has to be a pedal on, and obviously he has been basically retired from the TV series. Do you think they go in and change anything, or do you think this is just we're tidying up and putting it out, we're not spending tons and tons of time on it? Because they kind of get Marge to redo her voice, because she sounds like this, Homer.
Well, she sounded like she smoked 40 a day. 40
Homer, you gotta go and get Bart from the school, Homer.
That just sounds a lot like Homer.
Marge.
Oh.
You got any Simpsons impressions?
I was trying to think.
I've got a comic book guy in my locker. Here we go.
I used to have a Barney, but my voice doesn't.
My voice doesn't
Worst
go that way
episode
anymore.
ever. I feel like
That's
that's a pretty good comic book guy.
That's a good one.
Marge. I feel like whenever I do a Homer, if I ever get it correct, it's like season 1 Homer. It's like pre-lobotomy Homer.
Walter Matthau Homer.
You've got a good Apu if you want to knock that out.
I'll save it. I've got a good groundskeeper, Willie.
What about your impression? Anyway, do you think it'll make much change to this?
That's my favourite joke in Treehouse of Horror, one where Willie is Freddy Krueger and they go to a teacher-parent conference thing and there's a sign on the wall that says, "Do not touch Willie." And Homer goes, "Do not touch Willie." Good advice. I think they can go two different ways. I think it depends on what kind of game this is. If this is a full remake, a proper Unreal Engine, or whiz bangs and fizz bangs, then
like one of those videos of this is what Zelda will look like on PlayStation 7
exactly.
And it's like hyper realistic.
Then I think if it's a remake, they've got enough creative license to remove Apu entirely and change the plot so that any plot lines involving him get switched to somebody else. If it's a remaster, I think they do what Disney Plus does a lot, because this is Disney now after all, and put a thing up at the start saying there are culturally insensitive. The whole wasn't right then, it isn't right now, but we're keeping it intact.
That exact warning is in the Metal Gear collection. It's just like,
exactly.
Oh, right now, come on. We all had our fun. Let's just
that line where it says the PS3 is good because of the dual layer disc wasn't right then. It's right now. So I think it depends on if it's a remaster. I think they keep it in, but then they stress, because it's not like all the old Apu episodes have been removed off Disney Plus. There've been no episodes left. If they took him out, so yeah, I get that going forward they don't put him in, but I would imagine retrospectively,
I think it would be a terrible decision to take him out. Like, I suppose, as you say, if this is a quick and easy job where they're like, let's get it up to a nice frame rate, let's make it look nice and put it out, but it is the exact original game, you have to just leave it. If they were doing a remake, I think that's like a quick way to piss a lot of people off. And in that situation where they're recording new voices, not only the merge problem, but like look, Harry Shearer's a legend, Hank Azaria legends, but none of them sound anything. The only ones that still do are like Yerode Smith and Nancy Cartwright and stuff like that. But
Yardley Smith always sounded like that. That's the weird thing. That's just her voice. It's like
you see her pop up and like Everybody Loves Raymond. You're like, oh, it's Lisa Simpson.
Whereas Nancy Cartwright's a martinet of The Simpsons, where she'll do the voice at the drop of a hat when people don't even ask her to do it. There's that really awkward video.
I knew you were going to bring this up.
I can't remember about that before with the kid. He doesn't care.
Okay.
She's like, you heard
Nancy Cartwright, the auntie of.
Oh, she's the auntie of Sabrina Carpenter.
Correct. VGC's very own.
Wee honey.
Yeah.
Here's my tinfoil. Can I put this is Scullion's tinfoil hat.
Okay, here we go.
I mentioned this on Slack. My mind get carried away when I started thinking of Simpsons hit and run, what they could do with it, especially because the article mentions the Crazy Taxi one.
Yeah, Road Rage.
That tinfoil hat started working, and I'm thinking, who's Disney pally with right now? Disney's pally with Digital Eclipse, who are releasing Toy Story 3 remaster coming up very soon, and a separate Toy Story retro collection. So in my dream situation, you've got Digital Eclipse releasing Simpsons Hit and Run. And again, this is pure fantasy. This is not confirmation of a leak or anything. You get Digital Eclipse releasing Simpsons Hit and Run and Road Rage 2-in-1 remaster collection separate. And then you get a Simpsons 8-bit and 16-bit collection with all the old Acclaim games in there, because they've done it. The Mortal Kombat collection had Acclaim games in there, so they've got access to Acclaim and they've had access to Disney with their stuff. So there's nothing theoretically stopping them. So then you've got Bart versus the Space Mutants. You've got Bart versus the World. You've got Bart versus the Juggernauts. You've got Virtual Bart. You've got Bart's Nightmare. Virtual Springfield would be. That's a step too far, but that'd be amazing.
But not get the PS5 Pro couldn't even handle Virtual Springfield.
You've got the Simpsons Wrestling.
Oh, mate, now we're talking proper honking terrible games.
Because the thing is, like, Atari recently acquired Implicit Conversions, and these are the mob who have their own bespoke PS1 emulator. So they use them for the Mortal Kombat, the PS1 games in the Mortal Kombat collection. And apparently this company are almost finished a PS2 emulator. So Atari and Digital Eclipse are bridging this gap, because their virtual museums only really usually go up as far as the end of 16-bit, sometimes about 32-bit. Now in Mortal Kombat, they've got like PlayStation 1 games, and they could potentially then go into PlayStation 2 games if this emulation carries up. So we could have a Simpsons bumper retro thing with a timeline that takes you through all the Simpsons games up to the end of PS1, maybe the start of PS2.
They could do like a volume thing where it's like then when you get to, I suppose they'd probably want Road Rage to be its own game because that was popular as well. But you know, I'd like the Simpsons movie game. It wasn't great, but it was like totally fine. Yeah,
that might be trickier because it's EA, but I'd love to see a re-release of that, because that deserved a bit more. Yeah, a bit more love. Lots of kind of in jokes, very meta. Like Will Wright turns up in a wee Sims machine and starts abusing them. It's verbally.
Yeah, come on. Man.
I should stress.
Your Honour.
But
the people versus Chris Scullion. Will Wright in Electronic Arts versus Chris Scullion.
They would lose. But yeah, no, I'm excited. More about the idea that's in my own head that won't happen than the actual reality of it. But any Simpsons Hit and Run release would be welcomed with open arms.
Yeah, well, get those arms open, big boy, because let's see. We are going to do 60 retro seconds, and then we're going to go for a break. But before we go for that break, it's time for 60 retro seconds with Chris Scullion.
Lovely. So for a while, I've been trying to find a way to get my GameCube controller, my Switch 2 GameCube controller, to work on an OG GameCube, because there are a bunch of different adapters out there, but they don't all work apparently with this. So I've been kind of struggling going on. So I took a punt on an AliExpress one. It arrived in atrocious quality, and the brand is Retro Scaler, and it's Blue Retro, which I believe is an open source kind of doohickey for your GameCube, and this is it here. It cost me the grand total of £12, and it works perfectly. So you plug it into your GameCube, It's got a wee Bluetooth thing in the back, and you connect your GameCube controller with the Bluetooth thing here. And then what that means is people say, why don't you just use a Wavebird, which is a wireless GameCube controller? But the Wavebird needed AA batteries. This has got your rechargeable battery because it's a Switch 2 controller, and it keeps rumble, which the Wavebird didn't have, and the analog sticks, triggers still work. So perfectly, Switch 2 controller now working on my original GameCube. Lovely stuff.
That was 60 retro seconds with the Scullion. What do you call a female surfer?
I don't know.
A Wavebird. Thank you very much.
Well, that's taking us back to the 80s.
That was just all the piece there.
What
do you call a female surfer? Wavebird.
Wavebird.
1 foot dads. 1 foot dads. You go home, tell that to kids. First thing you tell them. When we come back,
the mum's sitting in the crowd. The mum's sitting in the crowd going, "Oh, cheeky!"
Oh, she's scandalised, absolutely scandalised. She's turning to our pal and going,
pretending she's offended, but secretly she's like, "Oh, cheeky sod."
We 15-minute diatribe on the crowds of Peter Kay, but my favourite thing is there was clearly an edict when they used to film the Peter Kay DVDs of whoever was doing the crowd shots. The only crowd shot you were allowed was you turn to your companion and go, "That's you," or you turn to your companion and go, "That's me," because that is absolutely all of them. That man, he absolutely nailed it. It's a shame he's still doing the same jokes, but you know.
Well, remember he released a DVD once, and it was a carbon copy of a DVD previously released. It was the same set, but on a different night, and
bought and paid for. Come on now, bought and paid for. Yeah, Alec Bread, right, we will be back in a minute with a friend of the show, Sabre CEO, and we'll also be talking about Fortnite. See you in a minute. And we are back. You might remember last week that Sabre Interactive CEO, big Karchy boy, Matt Karch, got himself into some hot water after getting into a bit of a fracas with Stella Sacco, who claimed on Blue Sky that she was replaced in the game Rideshare Stimulator in favour of AI writing tools, and that there was some internal pushback on the decision to do that from her boss, CEO Matt Karch. The writer Sacco took this public. Karch responded. It became very, very messy. He said, Stella who, famously, which is, go back and listen to that episode, one of the all-time statements. But now, instead of taking the advice of not backing down and double down, it seems that Karch has apologised. Quote, this is from Sacco. Last night, to my great surprise, I received a long email from Sabre Interactive CEO Matt Karch. He apologised unreservedly for the awful way he spoke about me in the press. The email's full text will stay between us. I'm not that kind of girl, boo, but I've confirmed it was from him. Quote, Matt said he regretted escalating and how people online were speaking about me. I'm not worried about being called slurs by random commenters. I'm a trans woman. That's every day for me. But it stunk to have my skill and reputation built of 20 years of games publicly maligned by someone with institutional power. One thing I saw people say about me, and that Matt fueled the flames of too, was that it was not my first time calling a former employer out. So I must love drama or be hard to work with. The truth is, bad treatment is everywhere in games. I'm just more willing than others to call it out. And I call it out, so maybe others will be willing to too when it happens to them. A surprise happy ending. I thought this would be an absolute double down.
Well, Jordan,
has it gone again?
I can't tell because Matt Karch then posted a lengthy thing on his LinkedIn page. Where he didn't quite double down, but the implication was that maybe he doesn't really believe he was wronged there.
Read this little quote and I'll give it a background.
So it's a big long. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the general gist of the thing he posted on LinkedIn was basically says I've had an insightful week reflecting on the unwritten rules and expectations placed on modern CEOs. Navigating public scrutiny, media narratives, and industry shifts comes with the territory, but it also offers a few valuable lessons. Public reactions are rarely symmetrical. As a CEO, you aren't afforded the luxury of responding in kind, even when you feel wronged, etc., etc. Dear Slim, but So he went on LinkedIn and basically said, I've learned now as a CEO, you need to keep your mouth shut because people will jump down your throat. Essentially, it's like, no, mate. that wasn't the lesson here. The lesson wasn't don't say anything because people twist us. The lesson was what you said. It wasn't great.
That's an incredible parry to just be like, I have apologised. However, let me get this essay out on LinkedIn.
Just to be clear, I was the bigger man, but just to be clear.
Just to be clear, I have won this interaction, so take that. Great band. Moron stimulator never, because Jesus. Next story, Fortnite officially reveals Sora, Crash, Spyro, Mega Man, Persona, and other gaming crossovers for its next season. The next season of Fortnite seems focused on gaming legends, at least the ones they could legally license. Chris, give me legend or not legend for these following gaming characters: Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
Tails.
Yeah.
Dr. Eggman.
Yes.
Shadow.
I would say no. My daughter would say yes.
Sora Kingdom Hearts.
Sure.
Joker Persona.
No.
Crash Bandicoot.
To a certain generation, yes.
Never been in one good game. Spyro the Dragon.
The same. Not my cup of tea, but some people love him.
Star of Pragmata, Mega Man.
Yes.
Rush, also of Mega Man.
No.
Pac-Man.
Yes.
And Tetris.
Yes, I'm aware of him.
What a game. There seemed to be a lot missing here. Like, where's Kratos and Master Chief and Johnny Metal Gear and all these other...
They were all in it already. This is all the new ones that have been added. So in the past they added Kratos and Master Chief and Lara Croft. No.
Oh, I'm thinking that bloody... What's the pishy fighting game? Smash Brothers? Yeah. Joker is also Smash Brothers, so this is all new people. I did see Sonic looks horrific stretched out to Fortnite scale.
It doesn't work. This is the problem with Fortnite, is that when Fortnite started, they didn't imagine they were going to have 12,000 characters in it. So everyone they created, all the original characters, just were built to that body shape. And over time, they've kind of got around most of the time, but with Sonic, you can't. He's just a wee guy, and you can't make Sonic like sometimes they get around it by making like SpongeBob's in it now, but he's an assist character. They've added these kind of. They did that with
Bart and Lisa, yeah.
And the Simpsons and Simpsons, yeah. But with SpongeBob, they added pets like a few months back just to get around that basically. So Tails is in it as an assist character, so he flies next to you. But Sonic and Shadow have got these big Slenderman legs, and they're pretty disturbing to see, basically. So yeah, I don't know if the season just launched yesterday. I don't know if Sora's there yet. I think some of them are getting added to the shop over time, over the course of the season. So it's going to be interesting to see how Sora looks, because he doesn't really fit that body shape either.
Yeah, they'll just have to stretch him as well in his big trousers. But if you go and look up the key art for this, if you want to laugh, because there's two characters in it that are so obviously meant to be representations of Mario and Link, and Nintendo are like, absolutely no chance, mate. What are you talking about?
Well, apparently they tried for Samus before, like a year when they were doing Master Chief and Master Chief's in it and Kratos was in it, and apparently at one point they said, "Can we put Samus in this?" And Nintendo were like, "Chase yourselves!" Like, well, I think they wanted it as an exclusive to Nintendo, and they were like, "Fortnite doesn't really work like that. We can't really do that." So they went, "Nah, you're all right." So. Yeah, it's a shame. Honestly, I get it.
I have respect for Nintendo for that. I, as soon as I see a character in Fortnite, I'm like, okay, that's that then, is it? I've accepted that is just the way of things, but
yeah, it is a weird one, because you don't want your Mario and your Zelda and your Metroid to turn into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because as a massive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, I used to get excited when they appeared in a game, like one of the Mortal Kombat vs. DC, or one of those games. What was this? Injustice. One of those, the Turtles turned up in, and I was like, what? Turtles? Nowadays, the Turtles turn up, but opening an envelope, and like every single game, every now and then, like I think they were in Call of Duty, they were in other stuff.
They were in Call of Duty.
People go, and they were recently in Sonic Racing, and every now and then they just go, the Turtles are here. I'm like, are they? Aye.
They were in Tony Hawk 3+4. Like
They've been they're in Brawlhalla, I believe.
Everybody's favourite. I'm always playing Brawlhalla. I've got a Brawlhalla tournament this weekend.
Was there some wrestlers in that? So Cena and stuff were putting Brawl.
I mean, they put WWE people in Rainbow Six Siege, so the WWE, another company famous for turning up to the opening of an envelope, they will collab with absolutely anyone on any old nonsense.
100%. So yeah, the Turtles have been in everything, and I get the need to. I get obviously this isn't the case with people like Sora and stuff, but there are some IPs you can tell they're going that, like Godzilla's starting to appear in a lot of things recently, and you get the feeling this
the
is
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Specifically the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's never any other generation of Power Rangers, it's just them.
It's never the later ones, which I only watched the OG, to be fair.
Power Rangers in Space, that's the number one. Bulk and Skull, come on.
Well, Bulk and Skull have been in it for years, apparently. I stopped watching and apparently they stayed in it.
So Bulk and Skull were in it from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers until I think Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, maybe. They kept popping up and they'd be gone for a season and then popping up. And then Power Rangers Samurai, which I think was it was like the 19th season of the show, so 19 years after Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Spike, who was Skull's son, was one of the pals of the Power Rangers, and I think Skull turned up eventually, and Bulk and Skull both turned up. They weren't in that Netflix thing, the one they did, but I think there's a picture of both of them that's like Bulk and Skull real estate or something like that. That Netflix thing they did was alright. The like where it was like the Yellow Ranger's daughter, like that was actually okay. Billy Yost.
So did you ever see Turtles Forever?
I don't think
where
so.
It was I think you can get it on DVD. It was a one-off special where the modern Turtles, like the Nickelodeon ones, not the new ones that are in that movie, but the ones before the Nickelodeon ones that said Booyakasha and all that. They meet up with the 80s ones, the from that era, because the dimensions come together and they all have to fight together to beat the old Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady and the new ones. And 2 April O'Neils and all that is very good. It's
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles met the Power Rangers in space famously because the same company that produced Power Rangers was working on that live action Turtle show that was kicking a ball for a little while, which had, what's the name of the lassie? Venus
de Milo.
Yeah, I think so. Gummy Venus de Milo, to bring it back to the Simpsons. Because they're like, okay, we've got 4 Ninja Turtles here that everybody loves, of all creeds and colours, all across the gender spectrum. Everyone loves it. Do you know what we need? A lassie turtle.
The problem with that as well is they broke the rule at that point, because the whole point was like
no fat chicks.
No, the turtles. These turtles are named after Renaissance painters.
Yeah.
So Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello, Leonardo, a statue of a woman with no arms. It's like, no, that's not a painter. That's a statue. That's like,
who's your favourite female Renaissance painter out of interest?
My favourite one? Mate,
you can give me a top 5 if you want.
We could do a full podcast just on them. I don't want to put you out your depth. I will leave it for now.
Okay. Elaine C. Smith.
Listen, what a painter.
Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, Leonardo, and Elaine C. Smith.
Rap! She knows her way around the chiaroscuro method. It would be like calling it Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, and Edvard Munch's The Scream. It just doesn't make any sense.
Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and a pot of paint.
So I remember that though. That was weird. That was when the Turtles that was when they were in their weird rubber face era. Those movies I never was massively in love with.
Well, you can meet the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at VGC Live. In conclusion, Fortnite, it's fine. Every time I go back to Fortnite, I'm like, I went back for the Simpsons stuff. The Simpsons stuff was genuinely brilliant. I think something of that size can bring me back, but not this like Ready Player One pixels bullshit. No interest.
I've embraced it to an extent. Like I like a crossover anyway, and I've kind of embraced it to the point that this no longer feels like a game with crossovers in it. This is just a thing where people just put their characters It just feels like a sandbox at this point. Like the Battle Royale thing's fine, but it's really mostly the user-created games I look at. So it really just does feel like a officially licensed version of that Gary's mod at this point. And it's just like every now and then, okay, they've added these characters to it. So I get excited by new characters, but not to the extent I think they want us to, because it just feels like adding every new character is just like, oh, is that who's next? They said, I can't believe they're in this. It's like, yeah, I can definitely believe they're in it now. It's not a surprise anymore.
Ian Cranky with Jimmy Cranky as the wee pet. Yeah.
Oh, well,
it's not.
I've spoken with my lawyers.
Documentary about it.
I know, but the documentary just said they were swingers.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Until a later date.
Can't be long now. We nearly had it when she fell off that beanstalk. Story number 7. Oh, this podcast will just cut. UK pre-owned smelly retailer CEX is reportedly opening 2 stores dedicated to retro and import games. The first computer exchange opened in London in 1992. Who helped design the logo for CEX?
Mr. Charlie Brooker.
Correct, Mr. Charlton Brookerist. And since then, business has grown to nearly 400 stores in Paisley alone, as well as numerous stores in the Republic of Ireland, Spain, Mexico, Australia, and Portugal. Now, according to retro YouTuber Retro Ghetto, as spotted by Retro Dodo, Jesus Christ, I'm going to be talking to Retro Scullion. The company is set to open 2 new CEX stores, which are dedicated solely to retro games. Interestingly enough, the retro section, and we'll get back to the story in a minute, the retro section in CEX has kind of become a much bigger deal since people have just been absolutely, it's like the last place in town to punt stuff like that without like selling it online. So when was I last in a CEX? It was absolutely, I was trying to get a physical copy of Pokemon Champions to get signed. And I was like, well, not Pokemon Champions, Pokken Tournament. And I was like, well, where still sells physical games? It's like, oh yeah, CEX. According to Retro Ghetto, the first of these stores will be opened in Birmingham in an empty shop next to the existing CEX on Bull Street. This shop was previously a second-hand shop for children's goods called Kiddix, but now it's set to be the first REX store. The second location wasn't confirmed in the video. Chris, how does this test your waters?
I'm excited about it in theory. I'm glad that the code name is REX, because they famously pronounced themselves as sex.
Yeah.
Like, to be all racy and comical. And if you're adding a retro to that, you can't start calling it R-sex. That doesn't work. So I get that maybe Rex might be the thing. But
R-sex is the shop they're going to do that sells amiibos based on our review scale.
Listen, I'd be there. I'd be camping outside for day one. with my medical equipment, with my tweezers. I think it's a good idea in theory. I like the idea that they're theoretically, apparently, like covering import stuff as well. So you'll be able to bring like Japanese games and American games there as well. And they're toying with the idea, apparently, of adding arcade machines and other kind of maybe expanding it to other retro stuff like old action figures and stuff like that, just to maybe fill the shop up if they realise it's not actually going that well. It depends what the prices are. Obviously, we know the prices of retro is just getting obscene these days.
I was going to say, surely the prices are going to be absolutely... It's going to be like when people go to Japan now and they go to like Super Potato and they're like, oh, I'll go and look at retro games. That we'll go and do the raid on Super Potato and get all this cheap stuff. But everything is crazy because the Westerners like ruined it, obviously.
So if it's just going to be shelves of PS1 games and you're picking up a copy of ESPN Extreme Games and it's 80 quid, and you just put it back, I don't see it lasting that long. It needs to be reasonably priced. Apparently, according to the report, the reason they've not done this for now is because obviously the CEX system, when you bring in a DVD, they scan the DVD and the system tells them how much that's worth. But when you're talking retro games, there's so many of them that aren't on CEX's system that when I bring in an old copy of Jungle Strike on the Super Nintendo and they scan it in and it's not on their system, your normal guy who works at CEX or woman who works at CEX has no idea what that's worth, and they don't want to do a price, so they need to call headquarters and all this kind of stuff. apparently these two stores are going to have someone like a grader in residence, basically, who'll
absolute
look at your thing and tell you.
Can you imagine the smell? Oh my god.
But, well, I think you'll find this copy of Sword of Vermilion is actually a little bit doggy. I'll have to take a five.
Gem, man. I certainly wouldn't get it. So on CEX, if there's something you have, like a collector's edition, and they don't have it, they will. You can submit it on their website, and more often than not, they'll just be like eBay price, I suppose. But as you say, with the retro stuff, they're going to have to do a lot of it on the hoof. And if they are basing it off eBay prices, which are already insane, like there's no, the prices can only go up as these games, like there's obviously fewer and fewer of them that people are willing to sell. So it might be okay.
I'm in favour of it in theory, but it remains to be seen whether, because I think the prices will kill it. It'll live or die by the prices, but it could also work for a secondary reason. Like a lot of people buy CEX stuff online. Because obviously the store by store, and the CX has got a really good website where if something's in store in their Liverpool store but not in the Edinburgh store, I can order it to be delivered to you for a couple more pounds. So somebody desperately needs that copy of Police Knots on the PC Engine, and
Hideo Kojima desperately needs a copy.
And their Birmingham retro stores got it, and fair enough, it's 150 quid or whatever they're charging for it. Probably be a lot more than that. Someone who desperately wants it, instead of going to eBay, would probably rather get it from CEX, but they'll at least get a warranty, and at least have the ability to return it if they're not happy with the condition of it. So I suppose it's that extra peace of mind that a high street store gives you, with the right to return.
Maybe they're angling this way because they can see the writing on the wall that no more physical games for PlayStation. The Xbox will probably go the same way. So. We shall see. I'm trying to see if I can get a most expensive thing they have on like PS5, for example. But they are their website is not. We can do this here.
I already feel sorry for the. While you're looking, I already feel sorry for the person who's going to be grading these things, because from day one they're going to get a sea of parents coming in with their kids with old PS4s and 500 copies of FIFA. And the guys could be like, mate, this is worth nothing. What? This is a retro game shop? Or whatever the Birmingham equivalent is of what?
What? My God, this is a retro game store. Chris Scullion, do you have a copy of Gadget Racers for the GameCube?
Gadget Racers, which I believe is that Penny Racers? But no, I don't.
You've just missed out on £470.
Gadget Racers, I know.
Frogger Beyond, do you have that?
Afraid I don't know.
You've just missed out on £350. Chibi Robo?
I do have Chibi Robo.
£215.
So why would anyone buy Chibi Robo for £215 when it's on Nintendo Switch 2 now?
I have absolutely no idea. Similarly, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, £200, literally on Switch Online. I don't know. People just there's some. I don't know if you've seen the degenerates that are in our Discord, but a lot of them just want a box for absolutely no reason, and I don't understand it.
I'll give them a box. I'll box their ears. VGC Live tickets available.
Tickets still available. I don't actually know if that's the case. Maybe they're not. If they're not, get it right round you.
You had your chance.
Yeah. Oh, I found the complete list of games. This is actually not as bad as I thought. For the Nightmare edition of Bloodborne, £520, which that's a rare collector's edition, fair enough. But it's a lot of fairly recent stuff. I mean, have you got Pirates of Dark Water?
I haven't, I'm afraid, no.
Oh, you've missed out on £345 there.
Shit, they can get it.
You should be embarrassed by yourself. All the Pokemon games are totally artificially inflated. Pokemon Puzzle Challenge on the Game Boy, £295. Aye, right. Pull the other one, mate. Pokemon bloody Puzzle Challenge. I'll puzzle challenge you. Yeah.
The puzzle is working out how they came at that price.
Ian Hislop. More as we get it from REX. We'll be there for the grand opening and grand closing, which will probably take place in the same week, so won't spend too much on the premiere in Birmingham. Not spent a lot of time in Birmingham in my life. EGX was in Birmingham. I remember met Shuhei Yoshida and RS McCall's famously.
I went to a SmackDown house show in Birmingham as a press thing back in the O&M days.
NEC?
I think it was a house show. It may be. I think it was one where the Honey Monster from Sugar Puffs came out, just to pimp Sugar Puffs, basically, which was
joining such luminaries that have appeared at WWE house shows, such as Kenny Miller, who appeared at a Glasgow house show.
To a mixed response.
Yeah, to a mixed response. Probably only slightly better striker than the Honey Monster.
Will you be getting tickets for Raw in Glasgow in January?
Or is it Monday? Yes, we'll be going to Raw in Glasgow. Don't you worry about that.
That'll be good.
I've not really been watching wrestling recently. It's
getting better.
Yeah, I watched the CM Punk stuff, but I just catch up with it on YouTube or whatever. It's not. I just don't fear. I feel like I'm edging myself into like a non-watching period, which happens every couple of years. I watch WrestleMania, I watch the Royal Rumble, but just keeping up with the storylines is taxing. Honestly, Unreal might have knackered it for me, because it's like I'll just watch the Unreal catch up of all this stuff in 6 months' time when they put it on Netflix.
I'm finally watching that Hogan documentary.
Oh Jesus, the one that they advertised during WrestleMania 300 times.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I can't watch stuff with Hulk Hogan. It boils my blood.
Linda comes out a wee bit worse, actually. and she's the one talking, but she says she's the one saying all the outrageous stuff that probably he's got the media shield over him. Like that.
I don't know about that.
I shouldn't say it. This. Well, you know something, dude. I mean, he's got some stuff that he knows he shouldn't say.
I didn't even know, Linda, man. I diverticulitis to the penis, brother.
He admits the drugs and all that, but he's clearly got a filter still.
Hogan never took drugs.
Just like,
Hogan never took drugs. No one could ever prove it. There was no test done. He had 14 surgeries that day, so he didn't get his test done.
He had a wee spotty bum.
Who amongst us doesn't? Come on.
Well,
if you have to shave your arse that often to be in a professional wrestling context, you're going to get some razor burn, as you well know.
Well, fair.
On that note, there's a lot of coverage on the site this week. Andy went to Japan, you might have heard of it, to play Duskbloods and to like have a holiday, I suppose. I reviewed MGS Collection and Galactic Racer from the Star Wars Galactic Racer. There's multiplayer gameplay up on the YouTube channel. There's tons of stuff coming. Next week, Andy and Chris at the Gamescom. I'm at the Pokemon World Championships, but the coverage won't slow down. And then the week after that, there's tons of reviews. It's going. Any more, Chris Scullion?
Nope, all good. I'm trying to think. I don't really think I've got anything else to say. I'm just kind of enjoying the calm before the storm next week, but it'll be a good storm. These are always the highlights. So looking forward to it.
Excellent. Remember, patreon.com/Video Games Chronicles, the best way to support us. Come and join us in the Discord. We need some fresh faces in there because the inmates are really taking over the asylum this past week. Unbelievable stuff. We'll see you next week for much more coverage. Next week's podcast will probably be a bit different. I envision they two doing half of it for Gamescom and I'll do half of it for Pokemon, and we'll mix and up. We'll be mixing packs and potions. But until then, say goodbye, Chris.
Goodbye, Chris.
And we'll see you next time.